the thing about going to open mics is it's like you go to open mics to prep for shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are no fucking shows. It's not worth it. Like, and I've done a couple shows here and there, but very few have been in person. And then like nothing compared at all to what my schedule was before. And then it's like, let's be honest, online open mics fucking suck. Right? Like they do.
So much that I've never done one and passed on like 5 of them.
I'm on a group page and it's like, hey, who wants to do a Zoom open mic now? And it's like literally fucking no one. Right. Like I'd rather kill myself. It's coming down to it. It's real. It's too much.
I saw the Cincinnati scene was doing like a feedback mic. So it was just like a small group of comics that were just running new jokes by each other, which like, I feel like that could be valuable, but an open mic setting virtually.
Yeah. It depends on who the comics are and their relationship to one another.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Let's be honest. If it's a very volatile scene or a scene that has like a very like, this is the PC side of the scene, and this is the side that's like, fuck the PC side of the scene. I don't know how to write a punchline. Then it could be very volatile.
That's the best side, though.
We don't have that side. We're lucky. Well, we kind of do, but they're afraid. They can't articulate their ideas, so they don't come out of the shadows. They just kind of exist in a small little bubble.
Mm-hmm. This is the side of the scene. That side of the scene is the side that's like trying to have open mics right now. And they're actually having open mics. And it's like, cool. We won't ever book you, but good job. It's nice that you're trying comedy right now when there's literally no fucking audience for you to do it to.
Right. It's an echo chamber. Where's the growth?
And that's the problem with a lot of the online mics that I see. And it's like, hey, bring people to this open mic. And it's like, I don't want to sit there for 2 fucking hours. I sat and waited for 2 hours for 4 minutes on an online open mic. And I left the audio on, but I had my headphones off so I could just see who was the next comic and waited until I was on, because they're like, hey, put your screen on, show appreciation. It's like, no, I don't. No, that doesn't help anyone. That doesn't help me. It doesn't. I don't. So I just left my screen off and I was watching part of, I think, The Vow on HBO.
Right. I don't blame you. It's so awkward too, because like normally when I'm at an open mic, I'm working through notes. So if I'm on the screen, not even paying attention, I feel like that's more distracting than if I actually like had the screen off.
Yeah, exactly. And like for me, I'm a person who will sit through an open mic if I have, like, not if I have to, but like last mic of the night, sure, I'll sit there until I'm tired or until I need to go home. I was listening to a thing earlier today about possible erasure of student loan debt and the different pitches and ideas that are being floated around by, like, so Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren are pitching the idea of like erasing 50,000 student loan debt for every person, but it'll be the federal loans. And then the House has pitched something of it being like, well, let's do 10K, let's do private, and only if they're financially in need. And it's like, okay,
what?
Why do we even have them at all? And there are people who would benefit who are like, well, no, that's not fair. You have to learn how to make a budget. And then other people who are like, I've already paid my student loans, but I don't want other people to have to do what I had to do to pay them. I don't want people to have to not have a savings account, not buy a house, not start a family, not do whatever to be able to afford an education. And then, you know, you look at the job scarcity and things like that currently going on. Like, it's very frustrating for me.
Right. Well, at least the conversation is being had, and that's something that we haven't seen. And that's, again, another kind of optimistic view of this whole thing that's happening is it's forcing conversations that were a few years down the road to happen now. That's cool to me.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But, the scarcity mindset and just like the idea that there isn't enough for everybody. It's like, no, we're not having the right conversation here. What can we do to build that up? We definitely need more of that collective collaboration. And that's the thing that is ingrained in a lot of workplace cultures. Like if you're in a leadership position, the last thing that you think about doing is actually having conversations with the people that work for you and like learning about what their desires are and their needs and what their actual talents are and what they want out of the job. Like in most cases, in a position of power, people will just, this is what I expect of you. And if you're not doing it, then we have a problem. There's no collaboration there.
Yeah.
It's a monologue and not a dialogue.
The way that we run Burning Bridges Comedy Club is that Derek and I own it. And we also have a team of people who we see in the comedy community who want to help build the stand-up scene in Pittsburgh. And people have floated in and out of it in years, whether they move or whether they just don't want to be involved anymore, stuff like that. So we're constantly adding new people as well. People who've been in comedy for long periods of time, people who've been in for short periods of time. And we just try and give them the opportunities of okay, this is what it's like to run a room. This is how you set up tech equipment. This is what it's like to run an open mic. This is how you do online marketing for things, different things like that. And then we also listen to them and learn about the ways that they want to develop. A big part of that is that a lot of those people are the people we look to host shows when we have them, because hosting is a great skill to develop, and most comics want to develop that skill. And if they can develop it in a safe, controlled, supportive environment, then they might have the opportunity to take that to a different environment, or to maybe be implored to start booking their own shows or producing their own things if they weren't already, or maybe just trying something different in general. It's not necessarily about this is how I want my club to run, shake a fist. It's this is what we expect the club to run like. This is why. And we think that you'd be good at implementing it for this XYZ reason. Or we see something and we want to foster it, stuff like that.
I love that. It's empowerment over employment.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's definitely not employment. Let me get that straight. Let me just say it right there. Totally not employment, because we're all broke comics.
Yeah, right. But just the mindset, whether you're paying people a salary or not, if you are working with other people, the goal should be to empower them. It should be to uplift them. It should be to help them reach their potential, and not to employ them and have them do what you want to do. There's no growth there. That's very limited.
Yeah.
So you've got the right mindset.
Mm-hmm. There's a larger portion of this comedic population who are white, het, cis males who do this, who will write a joke and then reach out to me, regardless of whether or not I'm within the demographic of the joke, and be like, hey, is this joke okay? And it's okay, why do I have to be the one to answer for this? Recently I had a person write a joke. Somebody was like, I have a joke about trans people. And this was a white, het, cis male dude. And he's like, I have a joke about trans people. I know what you're thinking, but would you read the joke and tell me what you think? And I did, and it didn't punch down at all. It wasn't about that. It wasn't whatever typical trans joke you would find that would be bad and punching down and all those things. And I was like, and I explained to him, I was like, this is what's good about this, is that you're not punching down. This punchline relates to you and not to the other person, XYZ things. Mm-hmm. And I very much value that, I'm a person that people will reach out to for that, even though I'm not necessarily representative of who the joke is about. But like, I very much appreciate that, like, people who worry that they could be viewed as punching down because they do have a joke about this and they're not in that demographic, like reaching out and like openly talking about it, and then also crafting a joke that's not punching down on that person or that whatever XYZ topic is. So,
well, I mean, you have a knowledge of comedy, and just based off of some of the things that you post on social, like, I understand why younger comics, newer comics, less experienced comics would reach out to you. But you make a lot of good points that, like, you're not punching down on the person. It's your perspective, and it's authentic. I think one of the rules I have, and it's not like I said, it's not a determinist. It's not like this is the way it is. But if I ever have the question, is this joke okay? Is this joke crossing the line? Then I have to re-examine the joke, even if I have that thought in the first place.
Yeah. I appreciate anybody who like takes a joke, looks at the joke and goes, should I? Like anybody who like will take that second to examine before they say it. I very much appreciate that, because there are people who don't do that. and it's not necessarily a good thing. And I think that, so with all the COVID pandemic stuff going on, the one, and I forget their title, but the main doctor heading up things in the state of Pennsylvania happens to be trans. So living in Pennsylvania, I'm seeing a lot of terrible, awful memes that are punching down on trans people. And I look at it and I'm like, come on, that's just not good joke writing. Like, yeah. Like if you're going to criticize them because the policy is dumb. Don't attack this person because they don't look to the degree of feminine that you want them to be.
Right.
Like that doesn't, and no, it never is. It's like, it's like, okay, you don't want to wear a mask, but that doesn't mean that they should go get their hair done. Like that has nothing to do. Those things don't match. Yeah. So the amount of memes that I want to redo that I see in the state of Pennsylvania are pretty terrible. But conversely, the amount of fantastic memes that have come out because of PA helping with the Electoral College with Biden, and a lot of stuff with Gritty from Philadelphia coming in. I'm from Pittsburgh. We're not supposed to like Philadelphia. It's across the state. It's further away than Cleveland is.
Yeah.
Me. But
it was fraud though. Just kidding.
You saw that I just wanted to like, yes. Anyway. But like the number of like good Gritty memes coming out of that, I'm like, okay, some of you in PA get it. Some of you don't. Some of you do. Like,
yeah. Oh, Gritty, like the mascot, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, that's funny.
Well,
yeah, like
have you guys seen Gritney?
Gritney Spears.
Is she
Gritney is
she's new, right?
Gritney, somebody created the female version of the Gritty mascot and have called it Gritney.
That's amazing.
And I feel like we should see this because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Leave her alone.
No. The Gritney ones have been like, it's Gritney, bitch. And like she's coming in with votes and shit. And it's just great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that it's important though. Like, I think it's important. Like if I were to write a joke about the doctor who's heading up COVID in the state of Pennsylvania, like my joke's not going to be targeted at them because they're trans. It's going to be targeted at whatever XYZ COVID thing is going on and not them as a person. Because that is what punching down is. So, and I think that somebody who is able to be like, hey, this is punching down, and can say that because they look a certain way, as Slosh does, you can do that. Like, and it helps out a lot. Oh, there's Gritney.
Ah, that's sexy.
That, right? It makes you feel feelings.
That's
all I'm going to say.
Yeah. That's equal parts disturbing and fantastic.
Right? That's that is what I want all the time.
Yeah.
That is the exact feeling that I want all the time.
Just constant cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
That's the thing with non-comics, the perception of what comedy is.
Yeah.
You from an outside looking in perspective, it looks like, oh, you're making fun of this person. That's not good comedy. That's low hanging fruit.
I wrote a joke recently for a local paper because they wanted like holiday jokes. And I wrote one that was like, we're not having pumpkin pie at the table this year because it lost the popular vote. That orange monstrosity cannot lead the dessert table. Mm-hmm. And it's clear that like you're making fun of it and what I'm alluding to, but it's not the same as being like President in Cheeto or whatever.
Yeah. You're going the alternate route. You're taking it's more implicit. I love more implied humor. Like I'm cool with that. But yeah, President in Cheeto, come on.
Yeah. Or I have to say it. I hate, like, I do not call him president when I write anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I never have and I won't ever. But like the people who are like, who call him like rump or whatever online, like the people who are still doing that 4 years in, it's just like,
Drumpf.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah,
Drumpf. Or who like lowercase the T and put a capital R to make it rump. Or the people who will be like, President Jack-o'-lantern or President Cheeto or whatever. And I'm like, guys, you're not making our side. You're not making your side look good here. You're not helping yourself.
It's the equivalent of Obama and Hussein and libtard.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. It's just, it doesn't help. It doesn't help the joke. Right. It doesn't help the joke.
I call him L. Don Hubbard.
That's clever. That's clever.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't heard you say that. That's fantastic.
I also call him Don Vito, but it's spelled like Vito, Like,
that's pretty good. That's good.
See, again, more implicit, less like right in the face.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Oh.
Yeah.
Can't meet him head on. I like that. And he is the personification of toxic masculinity, of
doubling down,
overcompensating for insecurities,
overly confident, but also very dumb.
Right. Thank God.
He's so confident in his stupidity that he was able to become president, which proves that kids, you can do anything as long as your daddy gives you $1 million.
A small loan of $1 million.
A small private personal loan.
It's a pittance.
$1 million.
Of $1 million,
you can punch up.
$60.
Ugh, I know, right?
Way more.
Is that the equivalent of 10 today?
Something like that.
It's probably more than that.
Yeah.
Can we do the math? Jeremy, get us the math on that.
It is a lot more. They did it, and it was way more. More than I would have imagined, I think.
Yeah, inflation's insane.
I think because we are still learning about the science of the brain so much that we are, and evolution, that we are so, I think that just the idea of like time and history is a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's still, exactly. And there's still a lot of people who think that like humans, the way we are now, were around in the time of the dinosaurs.
Yabba dabba doo.
Exactly.
With a cartoon about it.
Right.
Exactly.
True.
There's multiple cartoons about it.
Promoting cigarettes for kids.
Yep. It doesn't matter. Their sugary cereal's delicious. They can do what they want.
Yeah.
Right.
But like there's a lot, but that idea of like that concept of time and evolution and development and, not even just like just the way that like our brain has evolved from that time. Like you're right, people just don't get that we are not that far removed from it.
I think our culture is part of it too.
Oh yeah.
We like comfort.
It's that comfort, and it's also, for some people, the idea and the thought of learning and bettering themselves is also put down on. Mm-hmm. Think about like that stereotype of like, you're going to go to the big city and you're not going to relate to whatever rural thing we are. Like the whole thought of like, whatever kids go to college, they become more liberal. It's like, no, they're just not exposed to the same 15 fucking idiots every day.
Yeah.
They're exposed to 100 different idiots from 100 different places.
It's like also academia, which is like built on entire like objective analysis of things. So it's like,
or
no, it's probably maybe liberalism is correct. But I don't mean that in like the absolute sense. I just mean in a general sense.
It opens the door. That's for sure. More than anything we've had before.
That's a claim I'm making too. I could back it up, but I'm not going to sit here. We're not going to do it right now. So I can't. So you can go ahead and just not believe me. That's fine. You know what I mean? I don't mean you guys. I just mean like people in general. Listen.
Right. We all have the choice to evolve consciously. And that's what separates us from from dogs and cats. Is my cat is going to keep getting out of the house, eating grass and throwing up without every single time. And that's not going to change because he doesn't understand the cause and effect of that. Right. But we have an understanding of like, oh, if I'm not getting what I want, maybe I should do something different. Or if I keep getting this thing that I don't want, maybe I should do something different. And that takes the willingness to say, I've been wrong. And that's hard for a lot of people.
You can't laugh at that.
Special thanks to Golden Ox Studio. You can find Golden Ox Studio for all your podcasting needs at goldenoxstudio.com. Hit up Jeremy. He is fantastic to work with, a professional. He makes podcasting easy. And if you've been kicking the tires on starting your own podcast, definitely give Golden Ox Studio a look. If you'd like to weigh in on today's topic, follow us on Twitter at YouCan'tLaughPod, or like us on Facebook at You Can't Laugh at That, and tell us how you did laugh at today's topic or how you didn't. This is all about the conversation, is what I'm saying. All right. Bye.